Okay, so get this. You know how we've been talking about doing a deep dive on bone health?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys sent in some fascinating excerpts from this book, How to Strengthen Bone Health and Prevent Osteoporosis. And whoa, I had no idea how much I didn't know. Like, seriously, my mind was blown.
Right. It's a whole world in there, isn't it?
It really is. But before we dive in, let me introduce our bone guru for today, who's going to help us unpack all of this incredible information and connect the dots. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here. Ready to talk bones.
Perfect. So, first things first, the book emphasizes that strong bones aren't just about what happens later in life. It's about taking care of them now.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong journey, really.
And the book uses this phrase that totally stuck with me. Bone is living tissue. I mean, I knew bones are part of my body, but living tissue, that's a whole other level. What does that even mean?
It means our bones are constantly changing. They're not just static structures. They're always remodeling themselves, breaking down old tissue and replacing it with new bone.
So like it's a nonstop construction zone in there.
Exactly. And when we're young, the building part of that process is in overdrive, so our bones get stronger and denser.
But as we age,
Things can shift. That demolition crew starts working a bit faster, and if we're not careful, we can lose bone density faster than we rebuild it. That's where taking proactive steps throughout life becomes really important.
okay, so we've got this renovation happening all the time. Makes sense that we need the right materials, right? And speaking of materials, the book constantly mentions calcium and vitamin D. I mean, I've always known they were good for bones, but why?
Because they're the dynamic duo. Seriously. Calcium is like the building block of bone. It provides that structure and strength.
Makes sense.
But without vitamin D, your body can't absorb calcium efficiently. It's like having all the bricks for a house, but no way to get them to the construction site.
So it's a tag team effort. You need enough of both. Now, the book gets specific about daily intake recommendations, like actual numbers for calcium and vitamin D. What's up with that?
Those numbers come from research, years of it, looking at how much calcium and vitamin D people need throughout different stages of life to keep their bones healthy.
So not just random numbers.
Not at all. And consistently not getting enough, especially over a long period of time, it can really weaken your bones and increase your risk of fractures.
Okay, this is making me want to grab a glass of milk and step outside for some sunshine.
Good instincts.
Speaking of getting active, the book emphasizes exercise, which surprised me. I always thought exercise was mainly about muscles, not bones.
There's a connection for sure, but our bones are actually pretty smart. They respond to stress. When we do things like walking or running, those impact forces tell our bones, hey, we need to be stronger to handle this. So they adapt and build themselves up.
So our bones are kind of like challenge accepted.
Exactly. And resistance training, like lifting weights, that prompts bone-building cells to get busy as well.
Wow, so it's like a use it or lose it situation for our bones too. The book also mentions some more, I don't know, gentle types of exercise.
Oh, right, like yoga and Pilates. Those are great for balance and coordination, which is super important for preventing falls, especially as we get older. Because falls, those are a major cause of fractures.
And the book also dives into lifestyle choices, things we can control that affect bone health. There's this whole section about smoking, excessive alcohol, and a diet low in calcium and vitamin D. We've talked about how important calcium and vitamin D are, but how does the alcohol piece fit in?
Well, if you're drinking heavily, it can actually interfere with your body's ability to absorb vitamin D.
Oh, so it's like undoing all that good work.
Pretty much. Plus, excessive alcohol, it can mess with your nutrition in general. You might not be getting all the nutrients your body needs, and it can increase your risk of falls.
So it's kind of a triple whammy for your bones.
You could say that.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, let's do a quick recap of what we've learned today. Building strong bones is a lifelong process. Calcium and vitamin D are essential. Exercise, especially weight-bearing and resistance training, is a major player. And our lifestyle choices, those matter too.
Great summary. It's a lot to take in, but remember, we've just scratched the surface here. Bone health is complex. Everyone's different.
True.
So the best thing you can do is talk to your doctor. They can give you personalized advice, maybe even recommend a bone density test if it's appropriate.
Totally agree. Now here's a final thought for everyone listening. Since our bones are constantly renewing themselves, what one small change could you make today to support that process? Could you add some calcium-rich foods to your grocery list? Sneak in a quick walk during your break? Maybe even just do a little research on bone health. Every little bit counts.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for listening, everyone.